Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
Three minutes after 7, and we have a quorum, so I'll call the meeting to order. This is a virtual only meeting. If you have technical difficulties, you should call or text 802-376-4639 or 802-591-3418. So first issue on the agenda is public comment. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, the next item is committee reports and updates. Saxtons River Park. I have one from the Saxtons River Park. A request to put up a birdhouse.
Oh, right. Yep.
Let me, can everybody see this? Am I sharing it?
Well, let's take a look.
Not.
I don't see it yet.
Okay. There I am. Am I sharing it now?
There you go.
Okay.
Well, that's an email.
Yeah, but this is the email requesting.
Oh, okay.
Requesting to put up the birdhouse. So they want to put one or two birdhouses up by the wire fence. They said just downhill from the wire fence. I guess there's a question about whether or not the park committee is the only person that has to approve this, or if it has to come to the trustees. So I guess it's coming to us. As far as I know, they're not asking for any money for it. And
Like the idea.
are we okay with it,
I am.
Rick?
As long as it doesn't cost any money, I don't see any reason to go any further than this.
Okay. The only thing that only concern that I have is to make sure, I'm not exactly clear where he intends to put this, what he means by just outside the capped area. We just want to make sure that he doesn't drive any posts through the barrier that's down, but I'm assuming he's outside that barrier.
That would be a good thing to follow up on and make sure that they remember that.
Okay. I can do that. Do we need a motion to approve this or not?
We can, just to make sure.
Okay. Somebody want to move?
I make a motion to approve the birdhouses at the Saxtons River Village Park.
Second.
I thought you were leaving me hanging, Rick.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So I'll email Peter tonight. Anything else on the park? 4th of July committee. Anything on the 4th of July celebration?
No, but that's my fault because I didn't ask Sue until today.
Okay.
So she did just email me back, so I might be able to get an answer in just a moment. So we can move on to other topics,
Okay.
and then I come back to it.
Let's go on. The planning grant for 37 Main Street. Any update on that? Okay. Water infrastructure revolving loan fund application. The last I saw, they still hadn't heard anything. So nothing new to report on that unless somebody else knows.
I don't have anything.
Okay. ARPA, Amy sent around the report. And I think she wants to talk about that next time.
Yeah, I don't have any updates myself.
Okay. Either. Fire station.
I don't have any updates regarding the feasibility study. I did forward Matt some information that I did have about the feasibility study. Just more of an FYI, but there's been no development since.
Okay. Have you seen the old feasibility study, or is that still in limbo?
We asked for it, but I don't think, Rob, I think you were the one that had mentioned it to Amy. Is that correct? Like 20
believe
years
so.
old? Okay. Because I did mention,
There is an old feasibility study for the fire departments. I mean, all three of them.
yeah, and I did mention that to Gary. I relayed the information, but the issue is that being that there is one from 20 years ago, for this feasibility study, for the USDA, they need a current feasibility study. And Gary did say that that one wouldn't be eligible.
Yeah.
Aren't they isn't the town doing one now?
I don't know if that's specific for the fire department.
Well, I thought they were.
I hadn't heard that, but I can follow up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's see, wastewater treatment plant. Bob, do you want to talk about the ballast?
Yeah, you still got that birdhouse memo still up too, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Let
So I talked to Ashley from the UV company, and today she actually called me to follow up to see what we've been doing. I don't know if everybody got the full memo, but it was $1,200 to repair and send it all back. So that's shipped back to us completely fixed. We have a spare sitting on a shelf. And I didn't realize that was including postage, shipping and all that stuff. So, and my understanding is it has to go from where they are in the Carolinas to Germany and then back. They fix it over there and then back to us. So there's obviously some shipping involved. So I think that's something that we should definitely do. Because I know when we got the one, that was the one they had on the shelf. And with parts and supplies these days, you never know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they'll have more than one on the shelf, but you never know. When the time arises, we'll have one on our shelf.
And the replacement was $4,120, so $1,200 is a pretty good price for a spare.
Yep, I think so. It's well worth it.
Okay.
So we need a motion to
Yeah.
approve that so we can send it out.
Yeah.
But it's sent out. They have it. They're evaluating. That's how much it's going to fix it and return it to us. That's what it's going to cost.
I
Do
think
we need a motion so Rob doesn't have to pay for it?
well, I don't know if Bob wants to volunteer to donate it to the treatment plant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we need.
Or we just need to approve well, we're spending village money, so.
Yeah, we need a motion to approve it.
So I'll make a motion that we approve $1,200 for the repair and shipment of a UV, what's it called? Rob?
Ballast driver.
The UV ballast driver for a backup at the wastewater treatment plant.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? You in favor, Rick?
Yes.
Okay. Now this has to, you have to do this by the debit card, correct, Rob?
I don't know. I know we had to do the 4,100. I don't know if we have to. We probably do, and I'll get a hold of Sarah to have her do that.
Okay. Okay. Just so long as it gets charged to the right account.
Correct.
Okay, ready to go back to the 4th of July, Ellen?
I got
No?
one more.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I got over the weekend. We had a couple alarms for sensors. Matt was down on Friday night with me for a H2S sensor, and Sunday we had a combustible sensor. And I think it's just the fact that they were installed in 19 and it's now 22, and I think they just need to be replaced. I've got an email out to LCS, which is a company that installed them. If you remember, I think it was like a year ago, we replaced the actually oxygen sensor that's in that room. So it's just a time thing. And that's what I'm thinking. I know it's hot weather. Might have had something to do with it, but the sensor still hasn't come back to what it should be. So that's my thoughts process. But like I said, I got an email out to LCS to ask their opinion and have them give us a cost of what a new one and if there's any, if they gotta come down and install them or if it's something that we can do. Because it's involves wires and calibration and all that stuff to go along with it. So once I find that, I will pass that along to you guys. So
One question.
Yeah.
The Friday night one, you said it didn't call out. Is that part
That's
of the
correct.
sensor or part of something else? And did the Sunday one call out?
The Sunday one called out on a high wet well for the pumps. But when I got there, the sensor was also going off. So I don't know if it was in conjunction with each other or what, but that's another question that I want to ask them. Two is about the 911 system for alarms calling out. It's another question I have to ask them too. Same company does both. And just try to get to the bottom of it. Because Friday night's call, Matt actually called me at home. We didn't get a call from the 911 system. So, and it's been intermittently doing it. So I don't know, and they don't really know why it's doing it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just, and it's weird. It's like it has a mind of its own. So we'll definitely look into all that stuff. And the other thing too is they wrapped up, no pun intended, but they wrapping the pipes at the end of last week for the sound on the air pipes that they had started back in, I would say probably February.
And are they work? Is it working, Matt?
I think it is. You'd have to ask the neighbors.
Yeah, it changed it drastically. It certainly, I hadn't been aware of it or noticed it until Rob told me about it. And yeah, it's a significant change. There's just a bit of a hum that you know, like Rob was saying, kind of like a lawnmower, you know, and that's about it. It changed a lot.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the bill comes, how that will, if he'll ship it to us. He just left the key, said he was all done. So I think we had to pay him half for the materials, and then I'm assuming they'll bill us for the other half now they've completed. So other than that, like I said, I think I think it worked. I think they should have done that from the beginning, but
Mhm.
just my opinion.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Anything else on the plan?
No, everything else seems to be working okay.
Good. Okay, next item is minutes from May 2nd, which you probably just barely got. There is one typo in there to be corrected. I put an extra C in Ann McClarty's name. Other than that, neither Amy or I found any other errors in them. Any
That was
comments?
May 2nd.
May 2nd, yeah.
Yeah. I will move that we approve the minutes for the May 2nd meeting.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
I got one thing. Do you guys need me for anything else, or can I jump off?
I think you can jump off. We're almost through the agenda, so,
All right. Well, we'll see you. Anything else, just let me know.
okay.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
Have a good
Rob.
night.
Good night.
Yep. Bye.
Good night.
Okay, warrants and bills, let's, let me find the warrant. Okay, now I've lost you. Oh. Does everybody see a warrant now?
Yep.
Okay. Can you read it?
It's kind of small.
Better?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can read it.
Okay, so we have 9 items and they all look pretty normal.
Legitimate.
Yeah, pretty legitimate. I don't see anything out of the ordinary there.
Mhm.
I
So
assume,
go ahead.
go ahead, Matt.
So a couple of things, because I have all the bills sitting in front of me. I'm wondering why we owe CODA and CODA so much money. Have they not been billing and we have not been approving them? We have a bill here for $1,960, and it's for oil deliveries to the fire station. On 3/14, on 3/25, on 4/8, and then most recently 5/2. So it totals up to, have they not? And let's see, we have current is the 674.50. Over 30 days is $1,286. So maybe it's just timing as far as our meetings. I would have thought, I don't know if
March 14th, that's a month and a half ago. No, that's that shouldn't be a timing issue.
Well, right. So I'm just wondering where we are, and we shouldn't be that far out with them. Then the others were, wastewater treatment plant with the LP and then fuel for the trucks. So be good to get Coda and Coda paid up in full. Also, Sunel Auto Parts. There's one in here, Art. This is part of the stuff that Art left me. There's one for $34.07 that looks like it was charged on 3/24. So there again, be good to get all of these cleaned up and paid up.
Yeah. I don't like us being so far behind on the bills, and it seems to.
Well, yeah, on the oil, I mean,
Problem for, with the Green Mountain Power, it's been a problem.
do you have access to last meeting's warrant?
I don't believe so, but let me just check.
I might, hold on.
Just for a comparison, as far as Coda and Coda, did we approve something and we've passed it in the mail here? Or?
No, that Amy did not send out the warrant. She just showed it on screen. I would have to go through the broadcast of the meeting.
No, let me see if I can find it. Well, you can,
Yeah, I'll look too, hold on.
because she forwarded the template for me to do this. Here's a trustee template. So yeah, this was the last meeting. Coda and Coda was $1,286. So if that's been paid, then this is the wrong number to approve, but we don't know that.
What's the date on the bill that you have?
The $1,900, 4/30. It's the most recent one. And that's for, well,
Okay.
the 1286.30 is what was approved at the last meeting, and that's the over 30 days. So
Yeah.
if
But
that's paid,
Yeah, but you don't have a statement more recent than the last meeting to show whether or not that had been paid.
that's correct. I do not. So, without knowing whether that's paid, what do you want to do? Just approve this amount and she can
Yeah,
adjust?
I think that we should just approve up to this amount and less anything that's already been paid.
Okay,
Yeah. I don't think we don't want to wait. It's 3 weeks till we meet again. We definitely don't want to wait until then to approve it.
So the last thing I have is from April 18th. And that was Coda and Coda's bill of $1,286.34.
right. That's
For
what they're
oil.
showing as over
Okay.
30 days now.
Okay,
It may or may not have been paid. So,
Well, if we approved that warrant on April 18th, it should have been paid by now for sure, but
well, right, but it was on our last meeting too.
yeah,
So,
yeah, because we did approve it, I agree.
yeah, that's what, I mean, like I said, it's on the template that Amy had sent me. So, yep, we'll approve this amount and make adjustments.
yeah. Well, I think we ought to we ought to, I guess it's probably Amy's job, but we ought to follow through and make sure that we're not just being habitually delinquent with our bills.
Right.
I mean, I would hate to start meeting again down at the fire station and end up with no heat in the middle of one of our meetings.
Right.
So we should definitely follow up on that.
Okay. How do I get these to Sarah? Do I call her, email her?
Yeah, good question.
Do I have her email?
I have 2 emails for her, which I can send to you.
Okay.
And I've got a phone number for her someplace too.
Well, if you can email me all that stuff separately,
Sure.
I will get in contact with her and
Okay.
discuss the code and coda bill so we can be up to par, or up to date, I should say.
Okay. So you can, I guess you can just sign for the trustees on the warrant. If you've got all the bills to take to Sarah
Okay.
and date it tonight.
Did we approve it?
I move that we approve the warrant for 9 invoices up to $4,261.27, with the coda and coda invoice for fuel and fees of up to $2,779.46, depending on what amount has already been paid and does not show on the invoice. Does that sound good enough?
Sounds great. Second.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. We're down to other business. I have just one quick item of the follow-up from last time on the tax bills and the sewer fees. We will not get the grand list update until the end of May, maybe the beginning of June. I'm hoping that we'll be able to set the tax rate at the first meeting in June, but we need that information from the listers. And according to Mike's TAC, it'll be the end of the month before they finalize that with some new appraisals and some sales and so forth. And then I talked with Sarah about putting the sewer bills and the tax bills together, and let her know that I'd do it if I could, but I'm not sure that we'll get all the information by then. I'm not sure that VA will know what their enrollment figures are in time to do that. And we want to make sure we get that correct because they're our biggest single user. So next meeting, we should have something to approve, I hope. Any other business?
Yeah, I went to the whatever you want to call it, fire equipment committee meeting with the other 2 chiefs and representatives from Rockingham and Bells Falls boards and the town manager. And it seemed to be a very good, a good meeting. Now they're trying to work things out and change some wording in the agreement, which seems to be beneficial to everyone.
What is this agreement, Matt?
What's that?
Could you talk about what this agreement is?
Well, it was 1996 that it was established, and it was for town of Rockingham, Village of Bells Falls, Village of Saxtons River. The town of Rockingham, because we all pay taxes there, buys all the fire trucks for all 3 stations. And then there's just some weird wording in there about the leasees and what their responsibilities are. So
Okay.
there's going to be some tweaks to that as far as, what the departments are on the hook for. If a fire truck blows an engine, you've got to spend $20,000 or $30,000 repairing it. The villages aren't going to be able to handle that. So we're talking about having a minimum amount that the separate stations are responsible for, and then larger ones would go through the town of Rockingham.
Okay.
And still have an account, a separate account for that would have money put into it yearly to help with the purchase of new fire trucks, because they're $300,000 or so, plus or minus, instead of it being a one chunk thing that, just like with everything else, if you can put money away every year, it's certainly helpful when that has to happen. One of the members that was there doesn't like the fact that Saxtons River contracts with Athens, and for a very, very, very low amount, and the town of Rockingham doesn't get any of that money, even though they own the trucks. So it was brought to my attention at the meeting that towns out there do cover, like we are having this agreement with Athens, but that the amount we have right now is just horrifically low. I believe someone had said at the meeting that, well, I probably shouldn't talk about dollar amounts, but let's see. The current amount that we are charging versus what we should be charging probably 5 or 6 times more than what we're charging now. I spoke with Art Smith about that, and he said when they first started this agreement, it was for fire only. It was, if you have something on fire, we're coming out. And now they're going out there for everything. I think the rescue calls, they're going out there, they're going out for trees in the road on the power lines, car accidents. He didn't give me an official list, but the agreement was, you have a structure on fire, we're coming. So I think that agreement and that amount is tremendously low, and that I was told that Athens had asked 2 other fire stations for what they would charge for coverage, and it was that 5 or 6 times more than what ours is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a discussion to have with Art, and the reality is we need to be charging a lot more.
Well, we agreed to that back earlier in the year, and Amy contacted Athens, and they had already put it into their budget.
Yeah, that's fine for this go around, but we don't have a signed contract. This is a verbal agreement.
Right.
I'm not saying that all of a sudden we pull the rug out and say, no, we're doing something different. I'm just saying next year, or before next year, we should discuss this again with Art and come up with a more realistic number and get it to them early enough so they can either approve it or find other coverage or not.
The point I was getting to is that when we talked to them, or when Amy talked to them, it was not 5 or 6 times more.
I know. I
So-
understand that. I understand that. That's why I'm saying
Might be a big sticker
we need to
shock.
be a little bit more realistic with this.
I think the number 8,000 sticks in my mind, like the new
Yeah.
cost, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And others that, like the town of Andover, they contract with Chester. And of course, Chester just built a brand new fire station, police station. And that number was, I don't know the exact number, so I won't even try and say what it is, but it was considerable.
Well, my recollection is Grafton had, and Athens had talked, and Grafton was wanting well over 8,000, well over where we were
That's-
coming from. So,
That's correct. That's what I had heard too. So, I don't know if Art wants to, again, I think it's a conversation with Art to see, with the, if it's good to continue with that, or let it go.
I wonder what that would mean. I mean, if Saxons River wasn't doing it and Grafton wasn't.
Well, they're going to have to contract with somebody else if they don't like our number and Grafton is going to do it for the same amount or a little bit less. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I guess I was just thinking out loud because I'm like, who else could they reach out to? But I guess,
Newbrook over in
oh,
Newbrook.
okay.
Yeah, that's the next one. So,
Okay.
and I'm not looking to go after, there's a realism about it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to give them enough time this year. Like Matt said, we should get it on our agenda early, meaning like ASAP if we want to talk that kind of if we want to talk a pretty drastic change.
Yeah.
To allow them to reach out to other potential vendors, contractors, what you will, just like you would with any other service, and get some comparable quotes as to who's going to provide us with what. So.
Yeah, and to see, right, if the chief thinks that it's still doable, or not trying to, again, pull the rug out from under them, but given what everything is costing, their coverage is, the amount is quite low. So that's all I have on that. But it's a good committee. They're talking about the grants they have out for equipment and trucks that haven't come in. May not hear anything about them until September.
Oh, thanks for doing that, Matt.
yeah, thanks.
Being a part of it.
Just one question. Did the member of the committee who was upset about the town not getting a cut have any suggestion on how big a piece of the pie should go to Rockingham?
No, just said, Rockingham should get a percentage or something like that. And it's like, it's not bad, but,
Yeah.
just one person seemed to voice that, so I don't know where that will go.
Okay. Let's see. Other business, just to remind everybody that there is a joint town and village board meeting on the last Tuesday of this month before our next trustee meeting. So
What's the date of that?
the 31st, I think. Yeah. 6 o'clock
Yep.
on the 31st. And
That's a Tuesday?
it's Tuesday, yeah. And we have to be physically present there in order to be counted, apparently. So would be good if we could all be there to defend one another.
I'll be there.
I'll try to get there, 6 o'clock.
I will try to be there too. I've got an appointment later in the afternoon, but I think I should be back in time to make that meeting. Okay, any other business?
Just real quick. So when we were discussing about contacting the Saxons River 4th of July committee for the insurance, I want to make sure that I had understood it correctly as to what kind of insurance that the committee has for the event, the whole day. Is that correct?
Yeah, and also the question was, what about, I think, the vendors? What do they cover for the vendors, or how are the vendors insured?
Okay.
We were thinking about what we should do for if there was a farmer's market. My
Okay.
recollection, yeah, and we're looking for a precedent.
Okay. For a farmer's market in Saxons River?
There was talk of there maybe being a farmer's market, and there's a question about whether or not the village insurance would cover the vendors if there was a farmer's market.
Okay. Vendors.
And so then the thought was maybe there's a good model for the vendors for the 4th of July
Okay.
celebration. And I think we also said that the vendors that are out at the rec area in the evening, that we had some coverage for them, if I remember correctly. But the question about the ones who are in the street right after the parade was, we weren't quite sure about that.
Okay. All right. I'll get clarification then.
Yeah. Just I guess any information about what they do with the insurance for the vendors, if anything.
Okay.
I think everybody wants us to pick up their insurance costs, it sounds like. Okay. Any other business?
Nope.
Okay. Items for next meeting. I think Amy will have some information from League of Cities and Towns about the inclusion declaration and liability issues. And she will, I think, have an update or a discussion of the ARPA report that we got. I'm volunteering her. And hopefully we'll be able to set the property tax rate the next meeting. Anything else we need to worry about?
God, I hope not.
No, it's going to be a long meeting. Any need for an executive session? Okay. Then I think we're ready for the magic word. Anybody want to move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
Well said.
All right. So we are adjourned then. Thank you very much for coming.